going into it. I think there's...
Right. Here we go. I don't know who, sorry to interrupt you, Dan. I don't know who misbought because everyone seems to have the same thing as they had before. Body again with the smoke and the CZ, and they spot a lot of players going towards Banana, and Body's the one facing actually, so misses the corner of the smoke, but the kills are all flying in here for G2, leaving Rain alone. He's got the bomb and there's nobody on B, but how can he know that? Does he realize how many players are on Banana? They're all standing there together, not giving anything up, and he's going around the world all the way to the A site, it seems.
So interesting. G2 just holding, all four of them holding position in the 4v1 without seeing the bomb, actually, and which is interesting. And obviously this is the safest way to play it, but you think there's a world that they could probably deny the plant if they try to use a numbers game, but they're giving an enormous amount of respect to Rain at the moment. And it looks as though Shox is going to be the first man, or the closest man at least to Rain. And Rain's got 34 HP, he's just given his position away to Shox, who's close enough to hear the stepping. There is surely no way that Rain can do anything here, but he has got the bomb down. That's a pretty enormous effort in of itself, considering. And I think G2 sort of made FaZe to look like fools there. I mean, if you have a mid rush when the T's decides to go for that blind B rush, that's going to happen.
It was nice because if Body had got his smoke in the right place, it would have been a complete sandwich stuck between, I guess, 4 players and a smoke grenade with a CZ behind it. Just at the end there, you see Smiths with some nice bunny hopping into the site. He's low health. His job is to be a distraction. His job is to be cannon fodder, to be collateral damage, while the rest of his team come in with the cleanup operation. So far, so good for G2. Showing some strats. Hopefully they will continue throughout this best of 3 series. The force buy from FaZe Clan. Despite having planted the bomb, they're looking to offer a nasty surprise to FaZe. And that might come in quickly with a Molotov top Banana. That will be the clue that G2 needs.
Body, we're just checking the common positions. They don't have an enormous amount of grenades, so normally what you would do is use flashbangs to make it safe. You would toss in maybe double HEs onto the logs position. All sorts, but Body, they don't really have the utility for that, so he's just going to run in with the MP9. So far, so good, though, for G2, holding on to Banana and FaZe. Waiting for the smoke to dissipate before bursting top mid, it would seem.
Kenny is arch, but he's falling back, so Kenny and Existence in the pit position with the last 2 smoke grenades, which have both been deployed, actually. They've gone around the balcony and deep arch to keep control of that. 50 seconds left for 5 FaZe Clan players, make it 4. Guardian picked off through the smoke. Now 3 of the 4 are heading towards B. Will Kremen make a suicidal play towards A? No. Heading down mid to join his team. Shox is alone with the MP9. Fast fire rate, but how does he avoid getting traded? Surely they're going to run in together.
This is actually very scary. Very, very scary. Shox needs to be perfect. He's going to have a good timing going out there. Oh, he does get flashed back, though. He doesn't get any frags. Doesn't go down, also. So he can actually hold on to construction for his team. And this is the most important job Shox currently has. If the T's are able to take control of construction, it slows down the retake immensely for G2. And so G2 have a really good opportunity here to make this work, but it will be tough.
Well, they've got absolutely no grenades. They just need to have shock on all and need to get the first picks, and that is really problematic. I mean, this is a very difficult situation for them to deal with, but they're going for it. They've got no defuse kit either, so I feel like there's a high percentage where they just go to their doom here. Carrigan, I think he might have done enough. Rain now the last man. 4 kills for Kenny in this round, holding the bomb now for a 10-second defuse, and Smith can't get the frag. The reload is there, but surely he's won the round. Kenny, yes, with the ace on a 4-man retake.
Wow, that was pretty impressive from FaZe to manage to take that one away in the end. They didn't get the kill on Shox. As you say, it was this crazy a 4-man retake situation, and they played the patience game really, really well.
As soon as the Molotov went down, I thought they weren't winning the round, but then even if you want to retreat, there is no smoke down, so that might compel them to go forward with no kit, not a single flashbang. It was a really difficult situation for G2, and that is a very early round for FaZe. Look at the situation it's left G2 in. This is better than winning the pistol round for G2 for FaZe, as long as they can overcome G2 in this round as well.
Taking that Banana presence. FaZe in a potentially incredible position if they're able to cleanly win this round. It will put G2 in such a terrible sort of string of situations, as their economy will be completely ruined. We'll see now FaZe slowly but surely readying themselves to trigger the push into the B site, and G2 don't have too much to really deal with this. They only have Body there with the M4, and he's only got a single flashbang, no assistance. And here comes the utility. Molotov's eliminating the close positions. Body will try to get behind the smoke with some spray. Does get a dink actually onto Carrigan, poor Carrigan.
I wonder if he's just saving this situation. Body's the only man on the site. Everybody's out of position. You have 1 rifle and 4 pistols. And he could have exited the site safely. So I do wonder if you just save everything.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a good argument for that. I mean, FaZe, they ran that set piece on the B side. You're not stopping that in this round, and they need to eco next round anyway. So I think you're right. I think it would be really nice to get something going, but it seems like they want to really force damage in this round. But Nico's not having too much of that.
Yeah, so I don't know what the goal was, or if the goal changed over time to trying to play for exits, or what it was, but obviously they were ill-equipped. Body was the only man with a rifle. He was the man who could have escaped. Everyone else facing with pistols. You don't have the range to do that, so not an ideal situation from start to finish, but I do think, I mean, one option is to try and surround Banana and CT and play for the exit frags at the very least. Another option is you've got 4 guys on A, 1 guy in B. They smoked off CT, he can escape. Just run the same round again here. Ooh.
Says some P250s to an Eagle to try to get some damage in this round, and FaZe in a comfortable position. I think if FaZe, if they're able to keep themselves disciplined, I think they should be fine to get a lot of rounds there against G2 in the opening of this map, of this series. And they've got some really good positioning already, wrapping onto that A site. Not too much you can really do if you are G2 in this position. Tapped down by Rain's existence, and the plant will be had.
I think looking at the previous round as well, we should mention that they might consider that they have to get some kills there, otherwise FaZe are going to have too much money when they're on their next buy rounds, and if they lose that, they're pretty much screwed almost for the half. So, or potentially. There might be another option for G2 there. 3 pistol players remain as they wait for their money to come in. You can see Kenny's got just shy of $4,000, so he will have an AWP in his hands next round. For the rest of the team, utility will be a question. Might not all be M4s, might be FAMASs, and maybe an SMG here or there. Ooh, Nico might not survive this round. Is that enough to take Carrigan out as well?
Ooh,
it is.
There you go.
So they do get a lot of damage in there. 3 kills for G2, so that will be important when we look at buy versus buy. Very important indeed. So there's Kenny with the AWP. Rifles coming in for the rest of the side. Carrigan on a UMP, so again that damage has been quite significant. They could have dropped rifles, but I think he's expecting a lack of helmets, and he's not wrong. Only 2 of the 5 players here for the CT side have got helmets. So it's a nice calculated risk there. I think Existence might have been spotted. Carrigan, though, with the UMP, unable to do anything. And there's a trade by Kenny. 4 versus 3 very quickly. This is a fast advancing round with Smith getting picked off as well.
And a big pace, but a big whip from Guardian. The second attempt will not go any better. And that's a shutdown. Everyone winning their 1v1s. Kenny S is having a great start to this series so far. And that's a very, very much needed win early on to stop what could have been a terrifying reign of terror there from the FaZe side, as they had a great positioning on their economy, but no longer. G2 have done some good work to flip the table in that sense.
Yeah, Kenny's been fairly consistent for the tournament so far, and with that ace in the losing round, he is 10 for, well, 3 now after losing that pick. Is that the kind of volatility that G2 need at the beginning of a round, especially in this current situation? Existence getting hungry, but a grenade has sent the rifle away. Not sure in which direction. Would have been nice to see him with the scope, but again, I've spoken about this recently on Inferno, and a very early 4 versus 5 for G2. Maybe not expecting the rifle in this round, but now there are 2 for what was an ill-equipped FaZe.
I think they used the HE purposely to get that AWP onto Nico, I would imagine, and It's looking like a really good setup now for that B hit. And if they were to try to even go contact, that would be also quite successful. GT don't really have any grenades. 2 smokes and 3 flashes. Smokes now all deployed. And there's Body. Oh, the AWP can't really come into play in time. And Body can call for assistance. Shocks will be rotating around towards B. There's still 45 seconds left for FaZe to decide which bomb site they want to go to. They have top mid control, which does allow them to have the privilege, the luxury of options. And they'll take 2 players towards B.
Haven't even noted that Guardian went AWP, no Kevlar in order to get that frag, but he has been taken out of the game now. Perhaps that AWP can get collected after all. But in the meantime, distraction is being run. I don't think anyone is expecting a ramp to be coming in here from Carrigan. From the back as they spray through the smoke. Big problems, a 2K, and that's money being made as well with the UMP. 2 versus 3 now. Smiths with 1 flash. You can drop it over the roof into the middle of the site. Hard flash to avoid unless you're at New Box. They'll use it to take Banana. So, is there 1 player there? Are there 2 CTs? Seems they'll turn tail and run on this occasion. Potentially play exits and try to take a sniper rifle away. If they're lucky, maybe they will be.
Yeah, that was an awesome play from both Guardian and Carrigan. You know, the fact that normally if when you see a B play like that, you're sort of expecting there only to be 1 lurker towards the A site. So your guard is dropped when Guardian dies. And so they had Arch open, and Carrigan can take full advantage. No one ever is going to expect him to be attacking from that position, and it wins them the round. So beautiful little play there, and AWP is held onto. 2 AWPs held onto for G2. That's critical.
Yeah, you note existence after picking Nico at the end. Doesn't run to pick up the AWP, doesn't know what's around the corner, and the bomb will send it to him anyway. So 2 AWPs indeed, very, very important. But that puts them in an awkward position where they might otherwise save. Do they force around these sniper rifles and risk ruining their economy if they lose the round, or do they just play them like an eco with 2 big guns? Lots to discuss here for FaZe Clan. Well, for G2 and for FaZe Clan. And FaZe Clan have to wonder if they will force around it as well. Do they buy another SMG and expect a lack of helmets, try and abuse that once more?
This is a really interesting spot because FaZe know there are 2 AWPs. Like, how do you want to handle that situation? Do you go for a fast set piece? Do you try to deny the AWPs any sort of opportunities in that early to mid rounds by just going and using using that utility that you have to your advantage? Or do you try to draw out the round? There's a lot of questions as to the approach, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in action here from FaZe.
They have forced around these snipers, G2. So Smiths will have a Mag 7 in play, playing on a balcony position. Shocks and Kenny on the sniper rifles. This is a smoke you see from Rops for the most part. Gotta be careful though. If it was first spraying through there, Smiths is probably dead. Very fond of killing people from this angle. Now is he going to stand his ground? Yes, there's one. You can see Kremen running in for the refrag, but Smith will hear him from a mile away. Kremen has to be very, very careful. Guardian may be positioning for a double peek, but I think they realize what might have been happening. Quickly out of there, and he will hold the gap to Boiler.
And that's such an important frag, isn't it? Just getting that 5v4 on the CT side. It creates a situation where you do not feel like there is a burden of finding out information. And that burden is something that can ruin you sometimes on the CT side, because you can be put in positions where if you are a man down, you have to get that info. You have to know what's coming ahead of time. Otherwise, you are in a horrible position. But instead, they get to just sit on a nice 2-3 setup, feels super comfortable. Smith's still wielding that Mag 7. Will be interesting to see if he can get more value from this shotgun. As Kenny S will hold the line over towards Arch. Smith will be dispatched, but he's done a good job so far.
Does Existence know that someone else is on that short position? Guardian still lurks. You can surely hear Kremen on the balcony, or maybe not. Oh, really awkward for Kremen. That leaves Guardian alone, but he's got the A site for now. Planting the bomb. His steps will be heard by Body, who's towards the short position. Moving in, the crouch peek from Body will be enough, and they can rescue the second sniper rifle if they want it. You can see Body having a look before defusing the bomb. It's a nice angle from Smith on the barrel. Had some shadow advantage, but sometimes mag works for you, sometimes it does not.
And honestly, that is not a horrendous situation for FaZe. I mean, their money's not great, but they're in a spot where they killed 3 players, they got a bomb down. Now they have an option to force buy to really put the pressure on the economy of G2 and reset them. And it does appear like we're going to see that force buy here. We got 2 AKs, Map1, Galil, and a UMP. A decent amount of grenades to back this up as well. So we'll have to see whether or not they can really make this work and try to cripple that economy of G2, or whether G2 will see this play coming. KennyS will see nothing on mid. Do you think G2 have the read here?
They will surely hear these feet from the new box position, but they really need to deliver these kills. Shox missing the first play, going back for him. Body's only good for the 1 frag. That's a great shot from Shox, but he's got so many more targets. Too close to the pillar on this occasion. 3 on 3, and Karrigan's going to pick up the AWP. Won't be time to exchange it to Guardian, but he is going in Karrigan's direction. Do they boost over the smoke? There is a gap, they've got to be careful. Guardian on the AWP, and it is swiftly taken away.
KennyS back to his shenanigans, but can Nico start some shenanigans of his own as he looks to hold the line there with the AK-47? You got Karrigan as well, working from the back of the site. Nice start from Karrigan. Nico follows up, down to KennyS, and he delivers once again. One final hurdle to overcome. It's the IGL of FaZe as he pushes forwards. The flick shot will not land. It's Karrigan to take it home there for FaZe.
Saves the AWP last second for Guardian as well. 5-2-3, and despite winning that previous round, it was still shaky ground for G2, and they will be put straight back into eco territory. FaZe with a 2-round lead for the time being. Seen a fair few timeouts used already, which is good to see. Ooh, is this like vintage G2? Remember the good old days of existence? In spawn, having a chat, using as much of the round as possible. They will be late to leave. 5 Deagles, the butcher buy, looking for the meat shots are G2. They've got 2 smoke grenades as well. Maybe we will see some shades of Astralis trying to delay some pushes here from FaZe.
Those Deagles can be very problematic in this game. Oh, and there you go, the start to this Deagle round is looking pretty nifty, so far so good, and it's a very limited utility here for the G2 side. FaZe can still absolutely have a fine recovery. The use of grenades will definitely weaken the ability for G2 to get kills with these Deagles. Oh my god, it looks so on, but just nothing's connecting. Now it's going to be down to Shox. He tries to line it up, but he can't make it work. The spray through the smoke also not really connecting here for the G2 side. The bomb will go down, and now things get very difficult for G2.
They can contain, however. They don't need to go for the round win, although that's a great shot from Smiths, but they're lining up for Rain, looking to make money with a Mac-10 off angle from Karrigan, just running towards Rain like at schoolboy football, and that really shuts down the round. Existence now. Okay. It looks like a 1.6 aimbot, but I'm sure he's just trying to keep himself alert. Existence now versus 2. Ooh, so much damage. He might get some nice weapons sent in his direction as well. He needs to back off for the explosion, but surely some guns will come his way. He will settle for the UMP. So some nice highlights from G2, but they need rounds, not highlights.
Yeah, you can really see, I think, with that passage of play that Existence it's just ultra focused right now, which is really good because G2 need everything. All cylinders firing off here to defeat FaZe, and they're in a really good state once again. I mean, FaZe have continually put G2 in this spot where if FaZe then win that next round, G2 are just so broken forever. But I've got to hold that fort because this mid-rush is looking quite interesting here from G2. Looking to just rush with the pistols this time instead of holding very defensible angles. They'll bring themselves straight into the clutches of FaZe, and they'll be very happy to receive them.
Pow, pow, pow. Did he hit Cronin? Perhaps he did. Doesn't matter, he's dead. That's the eco round done for G2. Finally, they will be able to field a full buy. Kenny with north of $6,000. AWP, of course. Will it be 2 once again? I think it will be just the 1, but will it be enough? That is the question. 7-3. FaZe Clan looking to run away with the first half at this point. Karrigan leading the charge with 12 frags. Kenny on 16, though, leading the server, but needs more rounds, does Kenny. Does he go for the aggressive angle again? Doesn't opt for the potential variance on this occasion. FaZe moving quickly towards A, forcing G2 to expend a lot of utility.
Yeah, that's great pressure so far, and they are really wanting to take that top mid position. Nico defending. Oh, this could be bad for G2, but Body does manage to trade out with the FAMAS. If he went down there, Nico gets a B-bomb site for free. That would, well, not for free, but with ease after that point, and that would really create a horrible spot for G2, but they managed to hold on. Body, though, is critically weak, is still on that FAMAS, doesn't have an AWP or anything, so with no AWP, defending that bomb site by yourself can be pretty scary.
I love this play from Smiths. It is so important because it allows the whole G2 squad to retake top mid, essentially. You see Kenny moving back into position, but this should be a warning sign. And indeed, they're rotating now, smartly rotating around CT the long way, not through Speedway. I'll come back to that why a bit later on. Body picked off, and that is the okay. Punish the spray, and that is the round over. Never mind everything else. So if you're a CT and you rotate up Speedway, if someone is deep in the corner behind the sandbags, they can hear your rotation, which is why sometimes you'll see the CTs go the longer way, so they don't give off those sound cues, but they couldn't get there fast enough. That is round number 8 for FaZe. Things are looking pretty rough at the moment for G2. They haven't strung any rounds together consecutively. Reset, reset, reset.
I wonder if there is a custom map out there that helps you practice sort of punishing traces through smoke. Is that a thing, James?
I don't really think you need one. It's just they're all situational based on the areas where you're being shot from and the potential range someone could be at, but it's not that difficult to do unless it's a long range. If you have a good idea as to where your opponent is going to be, then it can be pretty standard. Three, 2, 8. This kind of sucks for G2. So they've got a hero AWP on Kenny S, and for the time being, a bunch of pistols. Kenny's bought a smoke, so I do wonder if they will perhaps try to boost him over the smoke if he smokes top mid early, or if we will see something along those lines. 3 smoke grenades purchased now from G2. As they develop further as a team with this roster, I do hope we will see the 5 smoke grenade buys on eco rounds, just to try to force put their opponent in a situation where they have to run for a smoke.
Nico looking to find something. I wonder if he'll be attempting to bite off more than he can chew. It depends on the grenades here. Just trying to go for the contact, and he'll spray him down. There's only 1 remaining. Is carrying on Nico. My mistake. His Guardian gets the trade, and it's looking pretty good now for FaZe. They have dealt the damage they needed to breach the bomb site, and so should be smooth sailing from here. Should be good for 9-3 very shortly.
They've picked up the AWP to dispose of it. Where the AWP rested, if the CTs were alive in this position, the bomb would have probably sent it in their direction, so Rain has picked it up and thrown it away, so that's not going to happen. No sniper likely to be collected for G2, so FaZe are paying attention to detail. No existence of 2 HP. They are going to get max loss bonus for this round, so they'll be back on the buy. But where is the success? No one has more than 10 frags, save for Kenny S, who's almost on 20. No existence is on 10.
It's not a good look here so far for G2. FaZe are looking quite strong. And again, you know, I mentioned it very early on, you know, for me, a lot of this does come down to the discipline for FaZe, because G2 are a team that could be quite explosive with the likes of, you know, Sharks and Kenny S, and Body as well. I mean, he's proven himself time and time again. You know, it's a bit of a question mark over the likes of Smiths and Existence, of course, but I mean, we see already from Existence that the guy can shoot some heads pretty effectively as well. So you really need that disciplined approach. You've got to respect that G2 can have someone like Kenny S just win around by himself sometimes. So they're able to you know, stick to their guns as far as their strategy and tactics go, and it's being executed pretty clean. Having some good calls from Carrigan. And GT is still looking for a way back in the game. They will have an AWP back onto Kenny, and they've got a good amount of utility into the next round. So if they're going to really salvage this half and have a respectable scoreline going into the second half, this is where it starts.
Oh. Is that what they were going for? Either way, I think it was mainly to get through the Molotov. Job done. Nico picked off, no one trading, as it's Guardian at the bottom of the ramp looking towards mid, looking for an overextension perhaps. Double peek from G2. As time ticks on, I do wonder if they'll start to look on the left and the right. Well, I guess Smith has got the right, but they will not outstay their welcome. Body was moving down Banana, but he's not going to overextend either. So we're seeing some repositioning from G2. 2 players towards the arch position now. Kenny not afraid to get aggressive there. Nice deep flashbang for him to clear the area. So we've got Croman near the balcony position. He's lining up a flashbang for the pit area. Is this smoke for the balcony, or it is? So we see a different one used by the likes of Bolts. And Smith will move into the smoke, so if they try to burst out of the balcony, he will be blocking the players and ruin their plan.
So FaZe going for that 8 hit. There's 4 players there. It feels very telegraphed. G2 really in an ideal situation. And if FaZe aren't going to attempt a split, this will be very easy to defend for G2. They're just walking into the crossfires and they're getting slaughtered at the moment. It's just Guardian left. And that was, I wouldn't even say anticlimactic. I think that if you, one, have telegraphed the play enormously and then you're not even going to attempt to go for a split, then you're going to have problems. Because look at that crossfire. You've got 2 people on either side of the crossfires. It's very scary.
2 rounds remain. Can G2 get to 6? Can they keep it close? There's another buy for FaZe. If FaZe are to lose this round, especially without a plant, then it's very likely G2 will get to 6. But let's see how it goes. Kenny, we've seen him, that's not the first time we've seen him stand in the Molotov to try to catch somebody off guard. He did it towards A, and he's lucky to get through that second one with 22 HP. He understands, especially as G2 are, their current iteration, the current state. The first page of the first chapter, he might have to do more than his fair share. Will there be a pop flash for Smiths? Yes, there will be. There's Kenny. But, of course, FaZe are going to be blind, exposed, and they will fire. And he'll go straight into a head first. Existence picking Guardian off in the meantime, keeping the numbers even.
Yeah, you love to see the fact that FaZe had 2 players watching that for that angle, having someone really deep, so that if there is a pop flash, it won't affect the player further away as much. Shox is going to spot the FaZe players moving across the arch side though, but the bomb was only just collected towards second mid. It will make his way through the apartments as Existence has to hold the site by himself. He does have assistance from Kenny, but he's over at the porch or the quad position, so he's unable to help directly. Existence had to win the 1v1, and now Kenny S on 22 health. We saw his troubles earlier in the rounds, but able to nail Rain. Oh, that is fantastic from Kenny. We've seen so many highlights from this bomb site from him, and maybe this is going to be another one as they fake the plant and try to draw Kenny S out, but he is buying so much time for his team.
He's aware there could be a flank. He finds Carrigan first, though, instantly looking, where is Nico? I'm sure he's lurking somewhere. Nico has to move forward now, trying to bait the shot, and he did bait it, but it cost him everything. FaZe get the plant, but they don't get the round. Round number 5 for G2.
This is literally what I was talking about. It's Kenny S guy that will just win a round. And again, if you look at the way the round started, he was lucky. He escaped with his life by the skin of his teeth. He barely made it out of there. And then he comes back in right at the end to save the round with a 4K. So, pretty good guy, pretty good player. Decent AWPer. So this is really important. You know, FaZe, they've been stopped for the time, and this allows G2 to have a respectable scoreline. But the question really is, you know, who is going to get that last round? It is up for grabs at the moment. The buy for both sides is definitely favoring G2, as FaZe took some economic hits there.
Double Mac 10s for FaZe in the last round of the first half. Double AK, double Mac 10. But they've got lots and lots of grenades, so we'll see if they can outmaneuver G2 at the very least. FaZe's standards will be high, and they'll expect the round as well. See if Kenny S can continue to be a problem. 25 kills so far for Kenny S. Very fast up Banana. Ooh, shots. The second player checks as well, and that's going to cost him. There goes Body. A fast play with fast SMGs. G2 will try to return the favour. Look at that double peek. Absolutely perfect positioning, but Kenny's still alive. Only for a brief second. Nico is a problem as well, leaving Smiths alone. 1 versus 3 in this last round. He's got pretty much everything. Apart from the off angle that Rain's got. 10-5 in favour of FaZe. A very quick final round in that first half.
Yeah, that's the round which you sometimes see, isn't it? The instantly one round with just a very fast speed play, get a fast couple picks, and that's gonna help a lot. I mean, I think FaZe, this was the general trend of this first half. We would see a lot of moments where G2 would actually create an opportunity through some incredible individual plays. We saw it from Kenny multiple times, but then FaZe are always there, ready to shut it down on the next round. So now it's up to the pistol really to decide who really moves into this second half with a huge amount of favor. And G2, they desperately need it. They have 2 Molotovs on the T side pistol. This is cool. There's one thrown by Smiths to clear sandbags. Interesting.
That is quite the investment for a pistol. Trying to deny information. We'll see if FaZe get curious. Guardian has gone very deep into the B bomb site, which means it is basically a 5 versus 2 on the A side, but it is a pistol round, so anyone could get a quick 3K. Rain picked up in the arch position. Chroman's good for 1, but has he got more? Jumping T players will trade him. And now FaZe are out of position.
Great start here for G2. Carrigan will be the first head to poke through the door as Nico kicks things off with the frag, though. But now it's Carrigan and Guardian left alive. Let's see what they are capable of here. Is they're closing the distance, and now Carrigan's eyes have been closed, as has Guardian's, and
Close your
now
eyes, Dan.
it's time for G2 to have a little bit of success. Although, that said, they did win the previous pistol and were reset immediately afterwards, so they have to avoid that situation. And this is a round, again, if you have a team that's fairly new, this can be pretty painful if you have a lot of smoke grenades on the CT side for Spy, but we won't see more than 2.
Ever dangerous FaZe. Smoke banana early for the CTs. Nico looking for any potential boost. He can do some cheeky jump peeks.
He lost no health there. That's pretty damn good.
Guardian's holding a HE. I did wonder if he was going to deploy it, but I think it's going to be based on one of his teammates spotting. So it looks like Chroman spotting the angle, and maybe when the T's get around this corner where that Molotov is, Guardian will bounce the HE off the wall. Nico looking to base as well. And if they do a full push like it looks like they might, that could be devastating.
It's all about finding a good timing here. Nico trying to get a headshot. One headshot here would go a long way before the push has really made its way to the bomb site, but Body will get the first one, Chroman in for the second. But the trades are going to be good here for G2. They will claim the B bomb site. It shall be theirs, as will the round. And for Carrigan and Rain, they don't... Oh, actually, okay, Rain has Kevlar and a helmet, so he may think about trying to create a situation where he can save it, and in fact, he is the player who's just holding the pit position. So the furthest away from the action, and he should be able to hold on to this into the next round.
Admiring the pretty flowers. I think there were multiple updates of pretty flowers.
Nice.
On Inferno. So if you're a fan, there you go. Round number 7 coming the way of G2, but how deep can their strat book be? Is it going to be a copy-paste from the previous team's existence was playing on? Will it be some kind of weird hybrid of Smith's coaching strats, existence, and Shox is leading? Will they be screw it? Can he tell us what to do? Who knows? USP round probably for FaZe Clan. Kenny on 28 frags now.
Damn.
Shox didn't have the busiest CT side with 4 kills, but now is the time to catch up on the T side. The freedoms to dictate the pace. 5 players for FaZe around top mid. So how can these players identify the T players where the CTs are? Body's only got a P250 for this round, which means he can be really aggressive and go fairly deep if needed and drop practically nothing. Nico with 2 headshots, why not? And now it's time for him to make some money. Body picks something up as well, but he's switching weapon as Nico peeks, and at the very least, well, it's a 1 versus 2. He's pretty much got all of his health. He has no Kevlar, however, and Smiths is flanking. So he will put a stop to the nonsense, but Nico made some nice money in that round. And he cost G2 a fair amount of rifles, weapons.
You make a pretty good point though. Like it's pretty insane the fact that Kenny S has so many kills. Like he has actually been by far the most important player on G2 in this Inferno game so far, and he has absolutely been the one keeping them alive and keeping them with a fighting chance. And they're still 2 rounds behind, and the double orbs have now come out from FaZe straight away, just straight away going to double orbs, and it's going to work out so far at least. Guarding with the opening pick there, I think he found Kenny towards second mid, I believe. Yes, I think so. I think he had a timing into the apartments and then rotated back around to Arch. Speaking of timing, that's a fantastic pop flash converted by Smiths into a frag as he looks to push the bomb site further. That's a very importantly timed smoke.
Ooh, does he check under the balcony? Will they hear if he drops off? Oh boy! There we go. Where are the final 2 players? They know Arch might not be safe, so perhaps the bomb goes through the apartments. Other than that, FaZe seem to be rooted to the spots, but it might start to creep forward as the bomb doesn't go down immediately. Or maybe not. No, they're just going to save, it seems.
That's a good choice.
It's quite the lurk there from Shox. And it's good, you see Existence picked up that AWP. I think in a lot of cases on previous teams, Shox would have picked up that sniper rifle. And then maybe he wouldn't have been doing that lurk, which won them the round. So that seems to work out well. Smiths has picked up a second sniper rifle. And we know these kind of French teams are not shy to do T-side double orb. On the Inferno, I think it might be somewhat of a handicap. But we'll see how it plays out. Maybe he'll switch out to a rifle.
Yeah, and it also makes you wonder a little bit, you know, what was the thinking behind FaZe there? They decided to put they decided to abandon someone from watching balcony so that they could have a 2-man bait setup on the quad position looking into mid. And so in doing, you are leaving that hole open there. And I'm sure most rounds it probably won't get exploited, but this one round it did, and it cost them enormously. So it's definitely something that I would imagine they're not going to do again, at least in that fashion. Shox found such a good timing. Ooh, okay. It was actually a boost. I thought he was in the apartments. Very nice.
Timeout from G2 in this round, which has 10 seconds left. Seeing double ups on a T side makes me miss the Immortals lineup.
Yeah.
With Henny and co.
Yeah, that Immortals storyline, it was all too brief.
Yeah. Seeing Henny jump into train A with an AWP scoped in, always good fun. But it is the French who we watch for the AWPs. So Shox and Kenny will be the snipers for this round. Double AWPs versus 2 rifles and the odd pistol here and there for FaZe Clan. This will be a very interesting round. The thing about having the double snipers is, I do wonder if, like sometimes it can cause a team to just hold position while they wait for someone to peek them. And when those peeks don't come in, then they end up like, oh crap, we haven't got so much time left on the clock. So I do wonder if we're going to be in one of those situations in this round.
So it is going to be FaZe this time. Sort of gamble stacking, but they actually are doing it with a round where they don't have full utility for weaponry. So that actually makes a bit more sense to sort of do a blind stack in that spot. Smoke that to, if there was a stack on B, to sort of keep players in position, deny them information. And we'll see G2 start to make their presence known towards the A site. We'll have Nico floating back through Speedway with the Deagle. And G2 sort of just going backwards and forwards here. The pressure game in this round is pretty strong actually from G2. You can see that they've created a situation in which it's completely unclear for FaZe as to where G2 are going.
It is, however, how will they push into a site with, okay, this doesn't make sense. I was going to say with 2 snipers, but Shox is lurking with one of the snipers, which will make life easy on Remainder. Smiths is the first one to get picked off. No Existence trades, but Rainer's on the high ground, so now it's 1 rifle, 1 sniper to move into the B bomb site. Those smokes will disappear. No nades left for the T side. And the boost is coming back in. Nico doing some big damage there, but Kenny with the headshot through the smoke, probably going for the booster, but it will be the boostee. 3 on 3. What do FaZe choose to do now? Do they try to gamble and win the round? Do they try to wait to pick up the scraps afterwards? The Deagle shots continue to come time and time again. Shox trying to avoid getting traded, but he has to go forward. The scope denies Croman's position, and there it is. FaZe win, not even a force buy, Nico round.
It was an eco round, James. I mean, of course, he didn't get kills, got some good damage, but it was his deagle that actually seemed to have a bit of magic in it as Rain collected it and did G2 a nasty. You can see here. Kenny S with too many points to focus on. That second kill, absolutely phenomenal there from Rain. And another round in which FaZe caused problems for G2. Another unexpected victory for them, which has created a spot where G2 have now had to go to Mac-10s and UMPs, and they're going to go for a fast pace up into the B-bomb site. Quick nades there from the G2, from the FaZe players to try to keep their opponents at bay at arm's length, and looks like it'll do the job. They're doing a fantastic amount of damage. There is no way in. Karrigan has shut the door in their face. Get out of here.
Karrigan with a 3K preemptive continuous bursts, taking absolute liberties, but I have to say all of his retreating flashbangs were absolutely perfect, just bouncing them on the floor, emerging through the smoke on the T side. Look at this, when do you see kills like this? It's ridiculous.
It's like watching Rain bursting, but it's like sped up. Interesting stuff. Still money for G2 though. They got the AWP back onto Kenny. He's on 32 kills right now, James. That's insane.
And it's 9-12. Guardian. You just can't be in mid. You need flashes in second mid, it seems. Taking all kinds of angles. Croman holding the tightest of angles. So some utility will be forced out. Guardian's such a great sniper rifle player to watch in how he approaches peaks from different elevated positions that you might not normally consider. I think he's peaked from short in 3 different ways and got a kill every time.
He is a very sturdy AWPer, very well studied. Can't catch Shocks though, flashes in place. Guardian's been forced back, but the amount of utility expended to keep yourself alive against him and to push the defense back is pretty significant, and they have no utility to deal with Banana. And what are you going to do now? Shock's caught rotating back to help the bomb be picked up with Kenny, who's now in a 1v1 against Karrigan, which he can't win. This is just absolute chaos here. It's fallen to pieces. 3 AWPs, well, 3 AWPs in total as one more is collected.
But quickly dispatched of as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough. Perhaps expecting somebody to be top of Banana. This time they weren't. Karrigan with an aggressive position with a Mac-10. And there's another timeout. The last timeout from G2. A lot of timeouts in this game so far, and it's G2 with their backs to the wall at the moment. 2 of their players, well, 1.5 of their players can buy, so this is the
music's very fitting, James.
Will be an eco round probably for this French side. What is a loss bonus for them? Loss bonus number 4, 2,900 after this round. How did they get back into this game?
It's really tough, isn't it? I mean, the problem is just that, as you say, you've got a player like Guardian who's really been doing a good job at just creating nice pokes. He doesn't have the most kills on his team, but he is doing, like, his AWP presence, as you say, just his mere presence alone, just the threat of him being able to just hold these angles like he is now, it causes G2 to not be able to take those positions early in the round. They've got to expend utility. They've got to find ways to force him back. And oftentimes, it seems like Guardian's getting the better of that situation. So, life seems good for FaZe at the moment. Full control of Banana, full control of apps and mid. Can't ask for much more on the CT side.
Well, the bomb's been lost. It's body in existence. Is it a question of damage? And it might have a part to play. If they can continue, we shall see. Body blind, just escaping. He's got an AK, so there's damage to be done by body for sure. The FaZe so aggressive, definitely feeling their usual FaZe groove at the moment. This jumping will be heard though, maybe a clue. Arrogance now seeping out from FaZe. And that's great because that's psychological warfare. Brazen plays will make you fear everything in the rounds to come. Close, but Guardian Overkill, 448 damage. With an AWP headshot. Says no.
So 14-9 is the score then, and things are starting to really look grim here for G2. They had a lot of chances back into the game, but it seems like FaZe have really found their groove on this CT side, a lot of comfort. They got lots of bank as well, so if they do start losing rounds, they will be able to replenish their buys happily. Guardian once again able to be the commander of everything in middle. If you want to move past middle, Guardian has to allow it. He must give the say-so. Croman wanting to be a bit aggressive here. They have a forward set up in the apartments in the early rounds. Forced back though. And Smith traded out by Banana. G2 holding on to, FaZe holding on to things. But the 4v4 is definitely a good spot to find yourself in on the T side. With over a minute to play with, it's a good look here for G2. But they just have to make the right call now as to how to attack this. But how do you break either bomb side? Nico will play the delay game if you want to go B, and A has 3 players on it. There's no easy answer here.
Sub 1 minute mark. They've got the smokes to force the CTs back from the arch position. See Guardian holding his angle. That smoke will be in the arch itself, but he will go ahead, not behind. And the flashbang is too deep. A headshot, of course. Above the waist just won't do. It must be the face. Lovely pop flash through the door for a smoke as well, and it is stereo frags. Might even be 5.1 for FaZe. That is game point on Inferno. G2 running out of answers here.
It's almost actually a spot where, because normally in Counter-Strike, if you're 4v4, it benefits the T side in the majority of situations because the CTs don't know which site you're going to be attacking, so unless they gamble and somehow are lucky and you go to that site, then they're going to be split up and you get the numbers advantage. But actually, I think FaZe are favored in that situation because Nico was sitting so happily with the smoke out and ready and an AWP on B. How do you deal with that? So far, G2 struggling to find the answers, and once again, we'll be testing the B-bomb sites. Nico does whiff the shot, so maybe an opportunity, but the smoke will quickly shut it down. Pretty flowers, James.
Pretty flowers all over the shop. Nothing's pretty for G2 though. Not at the moment. Guardian falls from his position, but not shy to go straight back into it, and why not? Who can stop him? Doesn't look like anybody can on Inferno. Just as aggressive as NES was. Look how fast that is, that's ridiculous! Trying to punish, and Croman is there. The smoke is on the balcony. He can simply hold the angle. Guardian, not sure what happened there. There's a 4-on-4, smoke's going through, flashing through the smoke, and Rain will emerge. There's the support for the instant trade. Great teamwork from FaZe, but it's a 1 versus 2, and Shox is the last man standing.
We haven't seen Shox in too many of these clutch spots in quite some time. It was always a treat in the past. But can he make the right calls? Can he get the right shots to connect onto his opponents as they start to make their way into the retake situation? Shox finds the first one. Carrigan now wants to hold the position. Shox searches for the trade fragger. He finds him. Nico with the orb shot. He wants to swap out a gun, but I'm not sure exactly what happened to Nico there. That might cost him the round though. Nico is still harassing, trying to buy time for Carrigan, and he's done enough. Carrigan gets the headshot. The round will be won. The map will be won. FaZe experienced some trouble, but in the end, everything will be okay at the start of the series.